Hey, everybody. Belinda Sandor here with Danny Burt. Danny is currently in VA school. She
Mhm.
started in October, and it's been a pleasure to work with her and get to know her. And today I invited her on in the spotlight because I want you to hear her story, where she was when she signed up for VA school, what's it like now, and all things VA school. So why don't you jump in, Danny?
Well, it's been quite a ride. I was looking at it the other day, kind of counting it out because it feels like it's been a long time because of how much I've learned since I joined. And I was kind of feeling panicky that it was over next month.
Not
And I
even
was looking
close.
at it and I'm like, oh, we're only halfway through. This is amazing. So yeah, that's how it's going.
That's awesome. So where were you on your journey? Like when we met, I think, did we know each other? I should have asked you this before. Did we know each other before the
We
Kickstart
didn't.
challenge? We didn't know. So okay, so you come across the Kickstart challenge, you jump in, and then what happens?
I actually signed up to do two separate VA challenges, and they happened to be the same week. I was doing yours and I was doing another one. And to be honest, I can't remember how it came about. I feel like it just was this thing suddenly that was jumping out at me from everywhere online. Once you see it
Yeah.
and it strikes something with you, then you see it everywhere. It was like that. And, I'd already been a couple years in deep in a network marketing company, but I really wanted something that freed up more time, not consumed more of my time.
Hmm. Hmm.
And, so I took both the challenges, and with yours, I felt really connected to you and the material instead of, the other one where it was kind of more encouraging you where the corners of the internet to go find people that might want to hire you. I'm like, oh, that feels a lot like begging for people to,
Yeah.
to be my client, which I did not want to do. Um, and so going into it, I felt really, you know, this this was just such a great opportunity to just get the full 5 days. That was just
Mhm.
phenomenal. But you know, that week I was like, I'm going to do this. Next month, I'm going to launch my VA business, and that's what I did.
That's what you did. And so
Yeah.
tell us about that. How is it going? How's it, getting the clients, figuring out all this stuff? Because you like jumped right into like a lot of it right away. You really embraced it.
I kind of went deep into the modules, and I felt like I was behind, but I think possibly I was maybe one of the first to get through the whole thing
Yeah.
on the site.
Yeah, I guarantee you.
And yeah, I just went right for it. And I have always been a table setter, and that was something that I really got to learn the extent of how bad bad it was in VA school because I am the type of person, I want to know everything, I want to perfect everything before I take step one. And it has always been a flaw because it 100%, that's how I look at it now. It's a flaw. I could have been reaching out to people, I could have been connecting and telling people about the things I knew how to do ages ago. And I have had some clients in the past couple of years. I've technically been doing a lot of the VA work for a very long time, but they were typically people who would reach out to me because they knew, hey, Danny, you're really good at this. Can I pay you to do it for me? That kind of thing. And I'm like, well, if people I know or people I barely know are doing this, there's no reason why it can't be my business. And I'm doing it only 4 to 5 hours a day.
Right, right, absolutely.
So yeah, I went straight in. I worked on my website right away because that's one thing that I do is web design. And I just started reaching out to people. I started connecting with more people on LinkedIn, and just I've had people reaching out to me, and I've been really lucky to kind of find some really great people to have conversations with. And yeah, I've got three very strong leads as of yesterday, and it's just been really great. I mean, in the middle of all that, I kind of had to take a month off because we moved from one province to another, and then with the holidays. So there's definitely been several weeks where I could have gotten much further ahead than I did, but I needed the break, so I'm allowing
Yeah,
myself that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. And that's the great thing about this is it's really self-paced. There's no.
Yeah.
I know we all feel behind because we want to please people and we want to do a good job. And we want to show up and all that stuff. But there's really no behind. So good for you for taking that time and settling in. Now you're a mom and you have a partner. And so how does this work into your lifestyle with them?
Well, my partner works 6 days a week, like 16 hours a day. So he's not here most of the time. But it's technically, just me and my toddler. And, he's at that age where he's not super forgiving of any appointments that I have and things like that. But this is so great that, a lot of the work I'm doing, I'm not necessarily on the phone. I'm not constantly doing lives and things like I was doing for network marketing, where I'd have to kind of always try to work around his nap time, which soon is going to end, I'm sure. And so it's just great because I can work at things here and there and still fit him into huge chunks of my day. So
Right.
that's the most important thing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people they're under the impression that clients are watching us, and they're really not. And I think it's because of corporate. We're so used to that. A lot of people are in corporate, and you're right outside the door, and people are walking by, and they're like, what is she doing? And there's really none of that. It's like, I've got a deadline to hit, and it's so much more grown up in a lot of ways, right? Because you don't have
Totally.
to have FaceTime. I don't mean like FaceTime on your phone. I mean FaceTime, like your boss is like, okay, she's been here. She's leaving at 4:57. That's a problem.
Yeah, exactly. And I
Yeah.
experienced that a lot. I was someone who would show up super early to work. And a lot of times I had given up my lunch break because we were short staffed or what have you, because I worked in the banking industry for several years. And yeah, that was just something I ran into. Like it was never enough what you were doing
No.
and how
Yeah.
much time you were giving up, essentially, right? Even time you weren't working for. Like it was never enough. And so now I make all those shots. So it's
hmm
good.
hmm That's awesome. So what was the thing so you signed up for VA school and you were hoping that it would be this. What did it turn out to be that was beyond that? Like what was the aha that you thought, oh, I didn't expect that?
The biggest thing for me was taking what I thought I knew and telling me, you don't know, you actually don't know that, but teaching me the things I needed to know. Because I went into it thinking, I've got all these skills and I'm going to be great at these things. But really, there were some things that was like, okay, but, you know, ABC does not equal 1, 2, 3. Like it really simplified everything. There was a lot of things that I thought that, like, for example, I thought that there wouldn't be as many like clients out there that there really is. I thought I'd have to really search hard to find all the people, like the very few people that were hiring virtual assistants, but they're everywhere. There's so many people that are struggling in their business and they need help, which is phenomenal for us. And yeah, like they're going to be reaching out to you. It's not, you don't have to dig for them like I thought. And just other things, like real simplified things. There's systems that aren't as complicated as I thought, and I'm a tech person, yes, but like some things I've never really gone down that road because I didn't want to get overwhelmed, and they're not overwhelming. So it was really just kind of pairing the easy steps with, what was in my head and reconfiguring what was in my head, because that was, I am someone who typically has it kind of laid out as to what I expect is going to happen. And it was very different, but in a really great way.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So can you talk a little bit about study hall? Because I think that's something that differentiates VA school from other programs. The format, the time, hopefully everyone doesn't feel rushed. So how does that sit with you, that whole study hall concept? So it's 2 hours a week that we're together.
Mm-hmm. I love those 2 hours a week. And I know I hated that when we were moving and we were on the road that I couldn't take part in like several of them. But I look forward to those days because it's not only personal, not just with yourself, but with everyone who's attending that day. But it's very, like there were a couple of replays that I missed from when we moved, and I caught up on them, say, a little bit later. And it's okay to circle back to the same material. Like you're always open to whatever question, whatever we need. And sometimes that means that we're all at a different pace and we're all at a different stage in our business. And you would think that back and forth would be confusing, but it's really not, because now we're actually able to help each other out, which is the biggest part that I love, because it's now more of like a little family, a little community, which is really cool. And it's super helpful when you're feeling alone in your business, because that happens.
Yeah, it does. It does. And, that's the thing that surprises me every time because, like I look at the people back here that have signed up for VA school this time, and I'm not a teary person. Like that's just not who I am. But I look at these faces and I look at these names and I think these are going to be my people, right?
Yeah.
Because you guys are my people. And I finally, after doing this for so long, I expect it now. Hopefully that won't jinx it. But it's just like so amazing to see how people come together and they say, hey, I'll jump on a Zoom, or let's do this, or can we fix that? Or, I don't have every answer. There are things, that people ask questions about, technical stuff that I don't know, but someone will jump in and say, oh yeah, this is how we do that. And so it's very much collaboration, which I appreciate a lot.
And to be honest, the wall behind you was the kick in the butt I needed to join.
Oh, talk about that.
I was like, I kept seeing more and more of these cards going up on the wall behind you. And I'm like, I really want to do this, but how to make it work? Because we were moving and, financially that's crazy. And I wanted my name back there. Not that I could tell from the pictures or videos which one was me, but I'm like,
and we have
I wanted to be a part of something.
Yeah. These
Right?
just came in. They're very exciting.
It was just, it felt like the right one. It felt like the right time. And I'm so glad I did.
Me too. I love having you in class. I love having you in the school. And so thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing. This was really awesome. And you're in Canada, right?
I am. Yeah. I live in the absolute boonies, sort of, in Saskatchewan. Freezing cold. Don't move here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing that's interesting though is you moved and you kept working on your business. And when I moved I moved 250 miles away from where I was before, and I only missed an afternoon of work,
Right. Yeah. And there's so many things like, I used to get incredibly car sick. Thankfully, not anymore. I've managed to, after 20 years, get that under control. But now I can actually work in the truck, which is nice. I'm not the driver, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's really nice to be able to sit down. I can make notes. Sorting through the notes I have. I'm a screenshot person. It helps. It gives me time to get a bit reorganized. So I work on the road now.
Yeah, it's fun.
Why not?
Yeah, I agree. When we take Emily to college, sometimes we rent a minivan, and she has this table that we bring back and forth to school, and I put my laptop on it and my hotspot, and I said to Greg and Emily sit in the front because she gets car sick and I don't. So I'm like, all day I'm billable from the back seat. I'm happy to be back here. You two just chit chat, sing to the music. I'm back here with my people. So
exactly.
Yeah,
that's going to be me.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it, for your point of view and for sharing your time and your experience. I really appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. Thank you for everything that you've learned and you're sharing with all of us, because it's already kind of changing my life, and I know it's going to change for so many other people.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, everybody. I'll see you soon.